If you're using decorated pots as plant or flower vases, ancient pots, or just a plain decoration like this, then you're probably missing out because there are plenty more clever uses of decorated pots that I'll be showing you, like the first one, which is going to be a lamppost with decorated pots. For this one, I'm going to be using a burnt pottery sherd to the lamp for the fire pattern on top to match our lamppost, and I'm also going to be using a redstone lamp with a daylight detector. You can use glowstone or frog lights, but preferably a redstone lamp for the aesthetic, and some levers below the dark oak trapdoor for details. This next build also came from my shorts and is an easy small decorated pot fountain design, which is an inspiration to one of my builds. On top, I'm gonna be adding a decorated pot with an angular pottery sherd pattern to again match the aesthetics of the fountain. And lastly, we're gonna be adding blue, light blue, and white stained glass panes for the water effect. If you want a bigger layout of the fountain, you can extend the ground, add some more bricks, and add some real waters into it with some lily pads and some fish. And yeah, it looks even better with this upgrade. We already have a flower and a decorated pot, which is a small medium size, but we can actually make a larger pot just by adding a terracotta on top or below it, so you can place a bigger plant. And it makes sense because you would want a bigger pot on a bigger plant if you're making one. Plus, it also looks good with the sherd patterns if you're feeling fancy. Eventually, if you add more pots and terracottas on top, you can basically make a simple pillar design, and you can experiment with it by alternating blocks or adding some patterns to it, which is really nice. And this is just 3 to 4 pillars. You can basically create more. If you like what you're seeing so far, make sure to like this video, and let's continue with the next one. Since building the pillars, it gave me the idea to build an archway design using mangrove blocks instead of terracotta to match perfectly with the decorated pot. And it looks really nice when you're making an entrance to your garden, and it doesn't take up much space, so it's a really nice archway design. Furthermore, you can place decorated pots on the side to create a thick looking fence and a mangrove slab on top instead of using a normal fence, and they look much better with it, especially when it's connected to the archway. Speaking of archway, we can integrate that into a window design for a more aesthetic look, which do match well with cherry blossom, and it also works with a bigger design on a 4x2 window. These are just the simplest designs you can make. You can change things up a bit for some variations. If you didn't know already, you can use a decorated pot to make a pet bowl if you cover it with a moss or carpet. And this is not my idea, by the way. This was made by Merciless Ming, so shout out and credits to him for this wonderful idea. Now, what I did discover building this is that if you put a mangrove trapdoor or any type of trapdoor, you get this interesting build that looks like a trap or some sort. I didn't know what to call this build, so I'm leaving it blank for you guys to name it in the comment section. This next one is my favorite, and I'm going to show you a robot design using decorated pots and some combination of fences, mangroves, and other blocks for details. You can change or add some parts of the robot here and there if you don't like the blocks I'm using, but yeah, it's all in the preference. Normally for the head, I'd use beacon, but for this one, we'll change it up and use armor stand and let our friend Piglin take control of this robot. And that's pretty much it. You can change the position of the arms if you want some action, and it looks really nice. For this next one, apart from using decorated pots as a display for your rare items, you can also use them as a chest stand instead of using a sign. It works well with the blade pottery sherd for storing your armor and weapons, prize sherd for storing your diamonds and ores, and brewery sherd for the potions. There are more patterns you can match with it, this is just the commons. While we are on the topic of patterns, you can also make Egyptian hieroglyphics with them, and I carefully picked the sherds that almost resembled the real ones, and here I'm arranging it carefully so you can see a meaning just by seeing those patterns. Thank you for watching to the end, and for that I have a bonus build for you, which is going to be a totem pole, originally made by a Reddit user, Osto8. And I like how he used sherds on this one, so I made my version of it with mangrove to match the colors. Again, it's up to you to choose the sherds on this one, and it can work on almost any patterns. Comment your favorite build down below, and if you want your fan art or builds to be featured next, you can join my Discord. You can click the link in the description down below. And thanks for watching, like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye.